Rishus, Rosh Yeshiva, Rishus of Eisenberg, Rav Schwartz, Rav Tursky, Rabbanim Chashuvim, relatives and friends. On behalf of my fellow graduates, I express our appreciation that you have joined us on this momentous occasion in our lives. There is an interesting dialectic in our yeshiva. From 7:30 in the morning until 4:35 in the afternoon, we are immersed in vigorous Torah study, continuing our beautiful tradition. At 4:35, we leave the walls of the Beis HaMedrash and enter the classrooms where we begin our so-called general studies. This part of the day culminates at 9:15, at which point we return to the Beis HaMedrash. The obvious dilemma we are faced with is how to struggle these very different aspects of our day. How do we define ourselves through such polar approaches to life's responsibilities and obligations? How do we justify our seemingly double lives? How can I spend so many hours pretending I am a true Ben Yeshiva when I'm moonlighting as a college student? Rav Aaron Soloveitchik Zatzal, one of HCC's former Rosh Yeshiva, brings 5 halachic justifications to the study of Mada, general knowledge, aside from Parnasa. The first being that it is necessary for the attainment of Avas Hashem, love of God. The second is that it is conducive to Yishuv Olam, contributing to social welfare. The third is as a medium to self-fulfillment. The fourth is that learning Mada is essential for understanding halacha and ruling correctly. We need to know what the Metzias, the facts of the case are. The fifth is to inspire the nation of the world with the Torah. But this has to be coupled with midos tovos, good behavior patterns. Now that we have established general studies not only as non-threatening to our Jewish outlook, but even as a positive element in our lives that can advance our avodas Hashem, service of God, what is the purpose in having a joint yeshiva college? There are many fine colleges in the area, as well as many kollalim that fit the different demographics of the Orthodox spectrum. Why then do we opt for the package deal? I believe a fascinating insight into this past week's Sedra, Parshas Chukas, sheds a light on the mission of this institution. In it, an obscure anecdote is referenced where Bnei Yisrael sing a song pertaining to the well which accompanied them in the desert. This song, which is sung at the end of the Israelites' long sojourn in the desert, on the brink of entering Eretz Yisrael, is reminiscent of the song they sang at the splitting of the sea at the beginning of their journey. There, by Kriyas Yamsuf, the pasuk says, "Az yashir Moshe uvnei Yisrael es hashir hazos," whereas here the pasuk says, "Az yashir Yisrael es hashir hazos." The only difference seems to lie in the latter's deletion of Moshe's name. What changed that at the beginning of the voyage, Bnei Yisrael and Moshe sang, whereas at the end, only Bnei Yisrael sang? Rav Chaim Sabato explains that this testifies to the maturing process the Israelites went through during their stay in the desert, their first 40 years of the nation reborn. At the beginning, they needed the guidance of Moshe. He sang, and they responded. But by the end, they initiated the praises by themselves. They no longer needed someone to cue them into the proper response. We can then use this to understand our school. We come into HTC as high school graduates, generally post to a yeshiva program. We had up until this point lived in our proverbial bubble and are not yet prepared to face the world at large. We go to a college within the framework of yeshiva in order to ingrain in us who we are and with what perspective we are to approach the world. We don't lead double lives. We need a synthesis with the Torah as our guiding light. Sure, we go to regular college by day and learn in one of the city's Beis Medrashes by night, but we would be in danger of creating for ourselves conflicting values. But here at Beis Medrash Torah, Hebrew Theological College, we establish ourselves with Torah values, with the goal that when we graduate and move on, we carry the torch of Torah and Yiddishkeit and spread it to whatever profession we choose and inspire all those Jew and non-Jew alike in our way. I would like to thank all the Rebbeinu professors for all their hard work in training and molding us to reach our individual potentials. A special thank you to the Rosh Yeshiva, whose energy and optimism, together with profound Torah insight, has enriched our knowledge as well as our lives. As well as the Chancellor, Rabbi Eisenberg, whose guidance and foresight has inspired us to carry the torch of Torah, for us to spread its light to the world, and with it may we be zochet to the Geula Shlema, the final redemption, and the rebuilding of the third and final base of Mikdash in Yerushalayim HaBnuyah. Thank you, and Mazel Tov.